What if a single machine, barely larger than a fishing trawler, could strangle an entire nation's lifeline? We often look at battleships as the kings of the sea, but the real tonnage war was fought in the dark, under the waves. Welcome back to Combat Loadout. Today we aren't just reading a list. We are analyzing the operational history of the 20 most successful German U-boats of World War II. If you enjoy a deep dive tactical analysis, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We have a lot of hardware to cover, so let's dive in. We are starting right at the summit, the undisputed king of the tonnage war, U-48. This Type 7B boat is the benchmark. Over 13 patrols, U-48 neutralized 51 ships, totaling 306,874 tons. It also damaged 3 more. Now, analyze those numbers for a second. That is over 300,000 tons of shipping erased by one crew. Why was U-48 so effective? It operated primarily during the first happy time, that critical window early in the war when Allied countermeasures were weak. Under commanders like Herbert Schulze, U-48 didn't just hunt, it grazed. It exploited the gap in British sonar capabilities perfectly. Next one is U-103, a larger Type 9B boat designed for long-range operations. In 12 patrols, she took down 46 ships for 238,944 tons and damaged 3 others. Here you see the shift in doctrine. The Type 9s were the long-haul truckers of the fleet. U-103 wasn't just hitting convoys near Britain. She could reach down into the mid-Atlantic gap. Her success came from endurance. Staying at sea longer meant more targets of opportunity. Let's move to U-123-0123, another Type 9B. This boat is infamous for Operation Drumbeat. In 12 patrols, U-123 sank 43 ships totaling 220,158 tons, with 6 damaged. U-123 is the textbook example of psychological warfare. This is the boat that terrorized the American East Coast in 1942. When we talk about the second happy time, U-123 is the protagonist. The crew famously noted how they could see the lights of American cities while they picked off tankers silhouetted against the coast. Coming in at number 4 is U-124, known as the Edelweiss boat. In 11 patrols, they sank 46 ships, 219,862 tons, and damaged 4. U-124 is interesting because of its efficiency. 46 ships in just 11 patrols is a staggering ratio. This boat utilized aggressive surface attacks at night, a tactic favored by the top aces. They didn't wait submerged. They fought like torpedo boats on the surface where their diesel engines gave them a speed advantage over the escorts. Next up, U-107. This boat holds a unique record. Over 13 patrols, she sank 37 ships for 207,375 tons and damaged 4. The highlight here is her second patrol. U-107 under Hessler sank 14 ships on a single run off Freetown, Africa. That is widely considered the most successful single patrol of the entire war by tonnage. It proves that finding a soft spot in Allied routing was far more valuable than advanced weaponry. Let's look at U-37, an older Type XXI. 11 patrols, 53 ships sunk. That's a huge number of hulls totaling 200,063 tons, plus 1 damaged. U-37 proves that you didn't need the newest tech to be dangerous. Being an early war boat, she operated before the Allies had radar dominance. Her high ship count but slightly lower tonnage suggests she was hitting smaller unescorted freighters before the convoy system fully tightened up. Moving on to U-66. In 10 patrols, she sank 33 ships totaling 200,021 tons and damaged 4. U-66 was a survivor, operating until 1944, to rack up 200,000 tons while surviving into the lean years of the war, when the hunters became the hunted. Shows exceptional situational awareness by the command crew. Now this one is legendary. U-99. 8 patrols, 35 ships sunk, 198,218 tons, and 6 damaged. You can't talk about U-99 without mentioning Otto Kretschmer. He was the tonnage king. His philosophy: 1 torpedo, 1 ship. U-99 spent very little time submerged. They attacked convoys from inside the formation on the surface at night. It was high risk, high reward, and the stats speak for themselves. Next is U-68. 10 patrols, 32 ships sunk, 453 tons. No damage record listed, just clean kills. U-68 operated heavily in the South Atlantic and Indian Ocean. This demonstrates the global reach of the Type IX boats. They were disrupting supply lines as far away as South Africa, forcing the Allies to disperse their escort assets thin. Rounding out the top 10, we have U-38. 11 patrols, 35 ships sunk, 188,967 tons, and 1 damaged. U-38 was another early war workhorse. The pattern here is clear. The boats that operated between 1939 and 1941 accumulated the massive scores before Allied radar and air cover made the Atlantic a death trap. Let's move into the second half of the list. These boats were just as lethal. Number 11 is U-96, famous as the boat from the movie Das Boot. In 11 patrols, she sank 27 ships, 181,206 tons, and damaged 5. While the movie showed the terror of depth charges, the reality was U-96 was an incredibly effective hunter, surviving far longer than the statistical average. Next one is U-152, the Red Devil. 15 patrols, 30 ships sunk, 163,756 tons, 3 damaged. 15 patrols is an eternity in U-boat terms. This boat was active from 1940 all the way to 1945. That longevity is a statistical anomaly. Then we have U-47. 10 patrols, 30 ships sunk, 162,769 tons, 8 damaged. This is the boat that infiltrated Scapa Flow and sank the Royal Oak. Strategically, U-47 did more damage to British morale than arguably any other submarine, despite ranking 13th in merchant tonnage. U-160, 5 patrols, 26 ships sunk, 156 3/6 sunks, 156 82 tons, 5 damaged. Commentary: look at that efficiency. Only 5 patrols? That means U-160 was averaging over 5 ships per patrol. That is an incredibly aggressive sink rate. U-1722. 6 patrols, 26 ships sunk, 152,080 tons. Commentary: another high-efficiency boat. They utilized the Wolfpack tactics perfectly, swarming convoys to overwhelm the escorts. U-29, a Type IXC boat that really defines the term long-range hunter. 11 patrols, 29 ships sunk, 143,748 tons. U-29 is the poster child for Operation Newland. While most boats were freezing in the North Atlantic, U-129 pushed deep into the Caribbean. It was a turkey shoot. They were sinking tankers right off the coast of Trinidad. The fact that a German submarine could operate effectively in the Gulf of Mexico showed just how unprepared the Americas were for modern naval warfare in 1942. U-94, a classic Type XXI, 10 patrols, 26 ships sunk, 141,852 tons, and 1 damaged. U-94 was an aggressive North Atlantic veteran that met a violent end. After terrorizing convoys for 2 years, she was caught in the Caribbean by a coordinated air-sea attack. She was depth-charged by an American plane and then physically rammed twice by the Canadian corvette HMCS Oakrill. It's a brutal reminder that by late 1942, the escorts were fighting back with unmatched ferocity. U-517 patrols, 22 ships sunk, 140,196 tons, and 4 damaged. U-517 and 86 tons and 4 damaged. U-515 is a late war anomaly. She was commanded by the ace Werner Henke. To sink 22 ships between 1942 and 1944, when Allied anti-submarine warfare was at its peak, is extraordinary. Henke wasn't just lucky, he was ruthless. U-515 was eventually hunted down by a relentless American hunter-killer group led by the carrier USS Guadalcanal. It took hours of depth charging to force her to the surface. U-181 4 patrols, 27 ships sunk, 138,779 tons. Use and look at that stat, only 4 patrols to get 27 ships. That is because U-181 was a Type XXI cruiser U-boat. These things were massive. Under the famous Wolfgang Luth, War-Ardene Ultiwen performed missions that lasted over 200 days, sailing all the way to the Indian Ocean and South Africa. They weren't just patrolling, they were practically living at sea, striking where the Allies least expected them. U-006 10 patrols, 22 ships sunk, 138,581 tons, and 4 damaged. U-06 earned its place in history not just by tonnage, but by targets. She famously put a torpedo into the battleship HMS Malaya, but her legacy is also political. U-006 sank the tanker Farja de Oro, a key event that dragged Mexico into World War II. It proves that a single torpedo can have geopolitical consequences far beyond just sinking a ship. When you look at this catalogue, you aren't just seeing numbers, you are seeing a shift in warfare. From the happy times of individual aces like U-48 and U-99 to the desperate long-range struggles of boats like U-181. Ultimately, Allied technology and industrial output caught up, but these 20 submarines left a scar on naval history that changed how navies protect their fleets forever. Which of these U-boats do you think had the most interesting combat history? Was it the sheer stats of U-48 or the daring of U-47? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this briefing, click that like button. It really helps the channel. I'll see you in the next one.